Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. We record these interviews so potential buyers have more information about the seller and the business to help them make a buying decision. Before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of this business. It's an Amazon FBA business and a wholesale business created in August of 2019 in the hobbies and lifestyle niches. The average monthly revenue for the business is $64,652 and makes an average of $22,343 per month in net profit. The assets included in the sale are an Amazon Seller Central account with 7 SKUs, plus more to be launched, a domain including all site content and files, supplier contracts and relationships, Walmart and WooCommerce accounts, social media accounts, which include Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and trademarks, an email list with about 1,200 subscribers. And just as a disclaimer, inventory isn't usually included in the list price, but buyers can get further details by scheduling a call with the seller. So for everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 64096 to learn more about the business, or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So that's a brief overview of the business for sale. Let's hear from the seller with me today. So welcome to the show, Santino. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for asking.
Absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to learning more about you and your business. So to get us started, can you tell me a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses or your background in business in general?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've always had an interest in business. This could stem from a very young age of hearing about my great grandfather, how he would grow strawberries and sell them to Henry Ford. And also, when I was young, I found a book full of words that were written, seemed like hieroglyphics. And I asked my dad at the time, and he's like, that was all the inventions that he wrote down secretly in case everyone found it. So that was an inspiration to me. He was always too busy working to execute on those. But ever since then, my mind started thinking of things and honestly never stopped. So from there, I went on to college. Originally, I went for engineering at first, but then switched because I always thought you could just hire an engineer and run the business and just pay them to create the products and concepts that I provided. So I ended up double majoring in IT and supply chain. Throughout college, I was launching things that came to mind, mostly like apps. That's a really hard industry to scale into and get traction. Some of them flopped just because the execution wasn't there. Then I realized I might as well pivot and do product development. So that's where this business came, created that. And ever since then, it's been great.
Yeah. So this is the question that I wanted to ask you earlier before this call. So you have clearly spent a lot of time both in the digital realm as well as the physical product realm. So what do you like better, and what is it that you like about the e-commerce side, or what made you go from that shift from the tech space into this realm?
I think it was because I launched the social media app based around stories. Like when Snapchat came out with stories, I wanted to make a simultaneous platform that would upload to all of them. Spent a lot of time and realized that the APIs wouldn't even allow me to upload a story to like Facebook and Instagram simultaneously. So it was a learning experience, and I was just creating apps for like businesses, just simple solutions for them. It was going well, but then I realized, you know what? I wanted to try products, and I realized that if you make a good product and have product market fit, it's a lot easier to scale. And that's where like the FBA Amazon thing just came into play, and I just kept trying to figure out how to do it, and eventually just launched and just kept learning throughout the whole process and ended up scaling it to a multi-million-dollar business, 3 years later.
Okay, well, you've certainly seen a lot of success in a relatively short period of time with this business. So why are you deciding to sell the business now instead of keeping it and growing it?
Yeah, so it's been about 3 years now, and building this into a multi-million-dollar business, I've learned a lot, but also I barely paid myself just because I wanted to grow this into what it is today. I got a lot of other ideas for products in different industries. And honestly, I did this while having a full-time job. I'd love to just quit my job, go relax for 30 days in another country while I recollect my thoughts and then come back and hit the ground running with just more product development. I'm a buyer right now in the energy space. And honestly, if I can exit and have this under my belt, that's what I'd like to do. And then just honestly put in my 2 weeks where I work.
Yeah, you are a builder, and there's a difference in business between the building phase of the business and then the operating phase. So it seems like you're ready for that next challenge. So let's talk about some of the lessons learned here throughout the journey of building this business. What did you learn from building this that worked, that contributed to your success here?
I think once I realized that the champion products really took off and got traction, it was all about, okay, what kind of variations could I make and also add automation that kind of stood out from the competition. And this also creates extreme value for the customer because I don't think most competitors are thinking about the product shelf life and how to automate products. They're just going to sell what they can get their hands on, right? So I believe this gave the business a competitive edge and just a lot of brand recognition.
Nice. And it seems like you've been on this amazing ride over the past few years. Was there anything you tried though with this business that didn't work out as well?
Yeah, honestly, my PPC campaigns that I would launch, that is where my weakness came into play. So I hired for that. And I realized that very soon. It was just something that I honestly didn't really have much interest in doing. And just for the price of hiring like a PPC team, it was worth me just outsourcing that kind of work. And then what I did was I created some ASINs that weren't along the lines of like the actual brand to sell. And I realized that this was a waste of my time. I need to focus on the brand inside this niche.
Yeah, that's a good point. And it's probably helpful that you recognized that earlier. A lot of buyers at this level, they do like to see a list of products that are kind of all surrounding the same brand or they're relevant to each other. So I think you're growing this in the right way. So let's talk a little bit about traffic. Can you tell me about how traffic is generated? I know that it's primarily an Amazon FBA business, but there's some wholesale. Can you tell me a little bit about those different avenues?
Yeah, so the B2B side of this business is really untapped. I have a few stores that send in purchase orders, but honestly, I really would have loved to scale that side of the business just because, I mean, there's a ton of stores that would sell this to their customers that haven't even like known of what this product is. So I'd like to scale into the B2B side more if I were to keep this business. But in regards to the Amazon, a lot of the PPC does help during like peak season, which is now Q4. This month of October, we're already over 100 grand in sales. It's going to be a record year for us, and we're hitting 123% year over year growth with the brand. But there is my website that I have, and it does contribute to some of the traffic that hits Amazon. And this year, I just completely flipped that into pushing traffic to the Amazon store. Whereas before, in the beginning, I was just running a funnel, doing Facebook ads. Then I just realized like Amazon is just way easier to work with and just their FBA is way less stressful.
Got it. And then there's a website component to this, and it seems like that the foundation of that exists, but there hasn't been a lot of attention on that. Is that a source of potential growth?
Yeah, absolutely. So I keep it active just for if someone wants to learn about the product. And then if you go to buy, it's going to say, available on Amazon and drive that traffic to Amazon. But there's a wholesale section of the website for the B2B section. So you can just easily order wholesale if needed.
Okay. It sounds like you're more in the maintenance phase of the business. You had mentioned you launched the brand line already and you're spending less time in the growth phase. So can you describe the amount and the type of work that you currently do on this business for maintenance?
Yeah, honestly, it was a lot of work in the beginning, especially with a full-time job. But after everything's said and done, the listings and ASINs are created, the packaging's done, the copy's done, all the A+ content, is there. That is like where a lot of the upfront work was in the beginning. Whereas now I literally just sit back, look at numbers. I talk with my PPC team weekly and I order more inventory when I can kind of scale in a forecast of when we would run out. It's honestly great. And it's the perfect business to just grab and then scale to the next level.
Yeah. And you had mentioned, like in our first question, about hiring engineers out. Does a new buyer need the skills themselves to expand the brand line if they wanted to do that? Or did you do that yourself, or did you hire out for that as well?
What I did was I created the concepts and I talked with my suppliers about how things need to be done. And they created the mold for me. With the new version of this product, that's all done. Like I have the CAD file, the mold's already made, production is going to be finished here next month. That's something where the new buyer doesn't have to have that kind of skill set, because I truly believe that this next version of the Champion products, it completes the brand. So you wouldn't need it, but if there was anything you'd ever think of to kind of integrate in the future, my supplier was able to help the next buyer.
Awesome. So you talked a little bit about the opportunities for growth. You mentioned that slightly. Let's get into that a little bit more. If you were to keep the business, what are some ways you would try to grow it?
Yeah, so what I did was I doubled down on what was performing the best, which was Amazon. And I didn't really tap into the B2B side as much as I wanted to. A lot of what stores are doing, sending me purchase orders, that's all like inbound. I'm yet to like do any kind of outbound sales. There's thousands of stores in the United States that would most likely create purchase orders for just the wholesale pricing that this product has. That's untapped. I mean, like I said, what the purchase orders are coming in today, that's all inbound. So if I were to like have more opportunity to grow this business, it would be exactly there. And then just launching V2, the new version of this product.
Yeah, so we can talk about that in a little bit because I know that you're currently working on your next line. But before we get into that, let's talk about the risks with this business. What do you think are the biggest risks that a buyer should be aware of with this business or this business model?
Yeah, so when you have a great product, there's going to be a lot of sellers that want to enter this space and compete with you. It's just business, as everyone knows. So launching new versions with automation is going to help solidify dominance and brand recognition. And that's exactly what I did with this brand. But as you know, like people are always going to try to come in and see like, oh, this product's doing good. Let me sell this too. So that's where it's like you create different variations, and it's going to help you just create the dominance and maintain that dominance in the space.
Okay, well, a few final housekeeping questions to wrap this up. How much support are you willing to offer a new buyer?
So the standard 30 days of email and phone support, that's totally no problem. But also, I do want to see this new ASIN created, and I'm able to get the inventory of the new version of the product and ship in. I just want to inspect it and see how everything is. Also create the copy. So that's no problem at all, just launching the actual new version of this product as well, beyond the 30 days that are standard.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure a buyer will be happy to have your help in launching a completely new product line. So that's actually sounds great. And then just confirming that you commit to a non-compete after the business is sold.
Yep, that's no problem.
Okay, cool. And are you open to something like an earnout?
Yeah, I prefer cash, of course, but I'm also willing to negotiate an earnout.
Okay, great. And putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
Well, it's been running strong for 3 years. It already proven the product market fit. We're launching V2 basically together, whereas, any other kind of businesses someone would buy, it's like, here's a business, goodbye. Whereas I want to see this listed on Amazon. I want to do the copy of V2. I want to inspect it and then launch it with the next potential seller.
Yeah, and certainly that you already have V2 kind of in the works and soon to be launched. The business has potential to grow significantly as a result. So maybe that's more of a time incentive for a buyer to purchase now as opposed to a little bit later.
Yep, I agree with that too.
Great. Well, last question. Is there anything you'd like to add that you think I might have missed during the interview?
No, I think you pretty much covered it.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot of great things here. Well, I'm going to wrap this up here. So, Santino, thank you so much for sharing your story and joining us on today's episode. And yeah, I hope your business is purchased in the near future and by the right buyer.
Thank you. Me too. It's going to be a great experience and looking forward to it.
I think so. Me too. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 64096. And if you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. And once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.